Hello, and welcome to the Killer Cuties podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Cassidy, and I've seen almost every horror movie out there.
And I'm KD, and before we started, I'd seen almost none of them.
So join us each week as I attempt to make a horror fan out of Katie.
As a warning, we will be discussing spoilers and some uncomfortable topics that may be in the plots, so feel free to check out the film on doesthedogdie.com first to check for any triggers before listening.
Today, we're going to be talking about the movie that started a bidding war after its premiere at Sundance, A24's Talk to Me. Let's get spooky. All right. Should I kick us off with a summary?
Yes.
All right. So, talk to me. So, the movie starts out with Cole, a young man who's making his way through a house party trying to find his brother Duckett. Cole breaks down the door of the room that Duckett has locked himself in and tries to leave. However, all the partygoers start taking video, and while Cole tries to get them to stop, Duckett grabs a knife. He stabs Cole in the chest and then himself in the face, killing himself. We then meet Mia, who is struggling with the anniversary of her mother's suicide. She convinces her best friend Jade and Jade's little brother Riley to go to a house party where kids are going to go to apparently get possessed. At the party, the host Haley shows them an embalmed hand, which will possess them if they grab it, say "talk to me," and then say "I let you in." Haley explains that they can only let the possession go on for 90 seconds before blowing out a candle to stop it, or else the spirit won't want to leave. Mia volunteers to go first and is possessed by a spirit who threatens Riley. The spirit holds on to Mia for a little longer than 90 seconds before they're able to blow out the candle. The next night, Mia hosts another party to get possessed again because she really liked it. They all take turns, but when Riley wants to go, Jade is upset. She doesn't want him to do it, and she leaves the room. When she's gone, Mia allows him to do it anyway, and when he does, he is seemingly possessed by the spirit of Mia's mother. Mia doesn't let them stop the possession, and it goes well over the 90 seconds. At that point, the spirit in Riley becomes very aggressive, and it causes him to bash his head against the table and try to gouge his own eye out. Jade comes back in and is able to stop him before he kills himself, but they were not able to blow out the candle. Riley's sent to the hospital. So Mia secretly took the hand and attempts to contact her mom by herself. The spirit convinces Mia that the mom's death was not a suicide and that it was just an accident. She also tells Mia that she needs to help Riley, who is still possessed, is attempting to self-harm at the hospital. So Mia goes. She tells the others that they need to redo the ritual and blow out the candle this time in order to prevent it, but they're not able to do it because Riley's not able to grab the hand and say it himself. Mia decides to do it herself. She sees a spirit of a little girl who shows her a vision of Riley kind of in this hellscape being tortured by spirits. This makes her very upset. They leave, trying to come up with another plan. While Mia goes back home, her dad comes home and shows her her mother's suicide note. Mia doesn't believe him because of what the spirits have told her, so she hides in her room. The spirit tells her that her dad is lying and that he's an imposter. Mia then has a vision that her dad is attacking her, and she accidentally stabs her real father when he comes into the room to see what the ruckus was. Mia then tricks Jade into leaving the hospital so that she can go kill Riley, because the spirits have told her that that's what she needs to do to release him. She takes him in a wheelchair down to the highway, intending to throw him into oncoming traffic. Unable to do so then, and instead she throws herself in traffic. Mia gets hit by a car, then she stands up and is suddenly transported into the hospital, where she sees a fully healed Riley with his family and her dad fully recovered. She's then surrounded by darkness. She sees a light, which she follows. Mia then finds herself on the other side of an embalmed hand as a foreign partygoer grabs her hand and says, "Fuck."
It's a doozy.
Yeah. And I had to leave out a lot. That was a long summary. I apologize, but like there is so much that happens in this
Yeah.
movie, and it's only an hour and a half, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I am so surprised that it was only an hour and a half. Like everything that happens in that movie is relevant to the plot.
Yeah, and that's why it was so difficult trying to do the summary without including everything
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much to it and it all felt necessary.
Yeah,
Well,
totally.
maybe it all felt necessary.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and honestly, I would have put that in there too. Completely necessary.
Do you want to explain the two key scenes that I left out?
Are you talking about the dog scene and the toes?
Yep.
Yeah. Sure. So, um, Daniel, the boyfriend, Jade's boyfriend, so the best friend's boyfriend, and also the main character's ex, gets possessed for the first time and is having like some sort of like sexual something or another. He gets possessed and his the spirit is like, you make me soft, talking to Jade, his current girlfriend. And then he looks over at his ex-girlfriend, main character, Mia, and starts like gyrating and moaning and then makes out with a dog.
Yeah.
So that was relevant to the plot somehow. But um and then another poor Daniel. It's
Yeah.
Daniel that's getting the short end of the stick.
He really went through it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. Um he stays over at Mia's house at one point and is awoken by a possessed Mia sucking on his toes.
Yeah.
She didn't know it was her sucking his toes. She thought it was she was like watching it like out of body,
Hmm.
weirdly enough. But sure enough, she was the sucker and Daniel was the sucky.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. This was definitely a movie where like I got done and I had originally planned to go see this and then just like go right into Barbie afterwards. And I saw this and I was like, maybe not. Maybe it's time to just think for like an hour. Like, I don't think that's the vibe that you want to have going into Barbie.
yeah. No. No. I told you this, but I saw this movie with my dad. And I told him why. I was like, "Look, I know horror movies aren't your thing, but I have to go see this movie and I really don't want to see it alone."
Hmm.
Because the only other movie that I've seen in theaters for the podcast is Renfield, and I was totally I mean, that wasn't going to scare me.
Yeah.
Um so this one I was like, "I really need somebody to go," and nobody would go, and my dad's like, "Oh, I love the movies." So he came with me, and at the end, the first thing out of his mouth was, "You think you got enough for your blog?" Which was super cute.
It's the cutest thing I've ever. That's very dad behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, literally the only thing I wanted to do after seeing it was call you and talk to you about it, and I knew I couldn't until Tuesday.
I was struggling so hard and I didn't do a very good job of it. I think you already know how I feel about this
Yeah.
movie because I couldn't not talk about it. I immediately went into like our Discord server and was like, recommendations. Hey, everybody, go talk. I was talking to Katie. I'm like, I'm gonna see it again. I'm gonna go see it again.
Yeah. You tried to play it off though. You were like, "Yeah, it's got to be fresh." And then everywhere else you were talking about it, you were like, "Oh, it's so good. Please go see it."
I
Um,
really liked it.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It was very good.
But you know what? I feel like we've both had those moments because you saw the menu before I did. And before I had seen it, you just messaged me immediately. That was shit. I don't want to talk about it. Well, now we're
Cancel the
gonna talk.
podcast episode.
Yeah, I was like, well, no, now we're definitely gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Ugh, it was so dumb.
Yeah.
This movie was not, however.
No. Big fan.
Yeah.
I think there were some people who were like really upset about the ending though. People just thought it was like anticlimactic or like I don't know.
A
I
little predictable, maybe.
adored it. See, that's okay. It was predictable, but it was like that was how I was hoping it was gonna end.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, I was like, "Oh, I hope that that's what happens. That this is,
Hmm.
we see how people become the spirits behind the hand. Like that would be
Yep.
so sick." And so it was one of those times where I was just happy I was right because it was exactly what
Yeah.
I wanted them to do, rather than like come out of left field and completely surprise me. That was I got that enough with the dog and the toes. That was like I there's no possible way I could have predicted that to happen. So that's all the surprise I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the shock factor.
Yeah.
Plenty of shock factor. But no, I agree. I knew that the ending was coming long before it came, but like once I realized it, which was still like only like 5 minutes left of the movie. Once I realized it, my hand shot to my mouth. I'm like, "Oh my god, she's going to be on the other side now."
Yeah.
And it was still a surprise. Like I found it out before it happened, but it was still a shock
Right.
and it was exciting that it ended that way. I don't know. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
And I don't know, I kind of like it when movies like put little pieces that come back later and it connects everything to you. Like another
Mhm.
piece that I kind of had to leave out to shorten the summary is that we later find out that they got the hand from Duckett. And so the brothers at the beginning, you meet Cole later, he survived the stabbing and he kind of tells them let it go, like stop playing with it and it won't get worse, but the more you do it, the more it's going to like the worse it's going to get. And
Yeah.
I like how the first time we see like Mia and Riley, they're in a car and they see an injured kangaroo on the side of the road. This takes place in Australia. And Riley's like, it's suffering, like, we need to put it out of its misery, and Mia can't do it. And that comes back later because she's told that she needs to kill Riley to put out his suffering, and she can't do it. And like, I
Yeah.
like it when movies do things like that. I just find it really satisfying when you're putting in these pieces that later are going to come back and kind of have that full circle effect, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah. On the note of like this is kind of an aside, but on the note of like Duckett
Hmm.
and Cole, um, one thing that I love about movies that were screened at like festivals and is that they generally don't like hit the general population until several months later. And by that time, like sequels could potentially be in the works. And that's exactly what's happening here. We've got two other films kind of in this universe, like already on the
Mm.
way. One of them is about Duckett and Cole. And so it's a prequel, and they filmed that subsequently with Talk to Me. So it's already like in editing. Yeah. So who knows when that could come out? That could come out tomorrow,
Oh my
as
God, I
far as we're
didn't know
concerned.
that.
Yeah. So that's super exciting. And that one is supposedly more of like a what do they call it? I wrote it down. Screen life storytelling.
Hmm.
So it's like told via like Zoom and text messages and
Got
like
it. Okay.
digital mediums, which could be fun and exciting. They haven't done that since like the early 2000s, like 2010. So that could be fun. But then we also have a sequel that's like another group of kids, supposedly.
Nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
I knew that they like when I think it was on Twitter or something. Danny
Yeah.
Philippou. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. I found two different ways of pronouncing their last name. Um, but they were like,
I've been saying
"Oh,
Philippa. Makes me feel better.
Philippou? Okay, perfect." But someone was like, "Are you gonna do a sequel?" And he was like, "Yeah, I would love to, but like A24 needs this one to be successful first, so help
Yes.
me out." Um, so I didn't
And
realize that they
that
had already been working on it, and they That's sick.
Well, the prequel was like basically already done, I guess. The
Mm.
sequel is what was like just recently like greenlit or
Greenlit.
whatever, and it's Talk to Me.
All right,
Cute.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. Talk X. Uh um Let 3 in. That would be good. You heard it here
Actually,
first.
you
That's
know
pretty good.
what? It would actually kind of be. I think I would have liked it if they had done Talk to Me and then the sequel was I Let You In.
That would have been good. Yeah, you're right.
Hello, marketing genius, hire me.
Yeah. That must have worked though, that tweet like asking people to make this movie successful because it was only supposed to make like 5 million and it's at like 35 million.
I I don't even think the tweet was needed. I think word of
That's true.
mouth works just fine. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I immediately told people to go watch it. Like I was like,
I couldn't stop myself. Yeah, you couldn't
I
either.
literally couldn't. I was giddy after I saw it.
Yeah.
I was so excited about it.
Yeah. I had like the biggest smile on my face as the movie ended. I was like, "Oh my god, that was really good."
Yeah, yeah.
Um There was also like a huge bidding war at Sundance in January of this year between Universal and A24. And can I just say, I'm so fucking glad A24 won that
Me too.
because A24 doesn't fucking miss. And I'm so glad they got this movie under their belt.
And they pay their writers.
That too. Yes.
So
That too.
big ups for being the only, well, not the only, but one of the only major uh non-struck companies right now. I don't know how you would say that. They're not
They're
struck.
not in a
So
strike.
yeah.
Yeah.
um but yeah, and I heard too that the directors they're brothers and they're YouTubers, which love that. Um but they turned down the chance to direct one of the films in the DCEU because they
Oh,
wanted this to be their directorial debut.
cute. I loved the like cinematography of it. It felt very like fresh,
Hmm.
like kind of like the spinning and the different angles of the kids. Like it,
The montage scene,
yeah, the montage scene was so good.
good. Do you
Like that,
want do you want to have your fucking mind blown?
yeah.
That entire possession scene montage was shot in less than an hour.
Oh my god.
That's fucking insane in the movie
Yeah.
world. That's like
It's like
only
3
a
minutes.
few takes.
Yeah. It was a 3-minute long scene, probably, right?
I, yeah, it felt like, yeah. It was like not a short scene. To do in an hour, like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Like it would be easy for a 3-minute scene to take days in some movies.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's bonkers.
yeah. But I love that scene. That was like one of my favorite in the movie. I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
It was fun and scary at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not funny. It was not funny, but it was fun. I was
Yeah.
having a great time and pissing myself at the same time, simultaneously.
Okay, okay.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
You're not a good judge of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This isn't, you know me. This isn't the
Yeah.
type of movie that really scares me, but I did think it was like there were moments of suspense for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
There
one scene
was
that really Oh, go ahead.
no, 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 please.
Okay. Okay. I will.
Please.
The one scene that really got me, like still kind of like having problems with at night when I like look down the hallway and stuff is when Mia's on the bed when Daniel's sleeping over and she like looks in the corner and there's like just like a shadowy figure there and you're just like, is that gonna like move? Is it gonna jump out at me? That one got me a little. And then she like starts crawling out. Blech.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It was a first starring role in a feature film for Sophie Wilde too, who plays Mia.
Oh, cool. She did great.
I hope it's not the last. She did fantastic. And I like kind of hated her a little bit in it. Like
What do you mean?
not like I don't know, like her I don't think her character was meant to be like fully lovable. You know what I mean? Like she was definitely a
Oh.
flawed protagonist. Like you feel bad for her, but you're also like, "Girl, stop. Stop playing with this possessed hand. Like you have to stop. Stop flirting with your friend's boyfriend because you're mad that she got him." Like I don't know, like there were parts of her that I was like, "Okay, she's definitely flawed." But I also kind of like that because then it's more realistic.
Yeah. I mean, the acting was perfect. Like,
Yeah.
she did an amazing job. Like, it felt very authentic.
Right, yeah. I got mad at the character. She was
Yeah.
fantastic. The actress was
Okay.
great, and I hope that we get to see her in a lot more.
Yeah. Future
You'll get
scream
there.
queen, scream, scream queen. I did
Woo
it. But no, I feel like the average age of the main characters, like the like 6 or 7 like high schoolers,
woo.
pretty low,
Yeah, they all seemed pretty young and fresh, and I don't
and
know.
they were all Australian.
Yeah, which I mean, help. I don't know. I genuinely think like sometimes horror movies, especially, are just better if you can get like unknown actors. Like I've never seen these people in anything, and I felt like it just like I don't know, because sometimes you see like I see Nicole Kidman in a movie and I'm like, that's Nicole Kidman. Like I you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she's great, but like it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Sometimes I like it when it's unknown and you just like get to see them as this character and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. The the other thing is like I think horror is really like a specialized genre. I mean, I guess all the genres are really specialized, but like there's not a whole lot of like comedians that also do horror. You know what I mean? With the exception of like Jordan Peele. Like that's the exception.
Bill Hader.
Obviously.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I mean, we'll talk about that when the time comes. But my favorite thing is when people in comedy do like a drama or a horror or something like that, and everybody's like, oh my God, they can act. And I'm like, comedy is the hardest form of acting. It's
Yeah.
so hard. Every comedy actor you see is probably a better actor than any drama actor, except probably like Meryl Streep, Viola Davis. Exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, yeah.
But they could also probably do comedy, so not worried about it.
Um
Have
Meryl
done
Streep is
comedy.
comedy.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. Iconic. She's iconic. I want her in a horror movie. You know who's in an A24 horror movie coming up?
Ooh,
Nick Cage.
is he?
It's a horror comedy.
That feels on brand for him.
Yeah. Excited for it. A24 doesn't miss. It's gonna be, and neither does Nick Cage, honestly. Let's be honest. um, so what do we talk about when we do this podcast?
Just like
No,
things and stuff.
scary.
Nothing too crazy.
How scary was it?
Like a 1.5, maybe a 2. It's like
Well, which is it?
like a 1.5 if I'm being honest. It really didn't scare me that much, but it was like there were moments of suspense. Like the hallway scene and like before the toe sucking started when she like wakes up and just sees like a spirit in the corner of the room. Like that I was kind of like what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But then the toe sucking happened and I was laughing, so I just I don't
Oh
know.
my god. Well, okay.
How scary did you think it was?
3.5.
There. This is exactly what scares you, so
Yeah. It was really scary.
That's okay. Honestly, like a lot of what I've heard from this is that people were like terrified by it. I was honestly like expecting like more like jump scares and stuff because that's typically what people when they're like this was so scary, it's just a lot of jump scares. But not in it. It was a lot of just like terror and like
Yeah.
suspense, not so much like in your face. But
Were there even any jump scares? I don't remember, like, recovering from any, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh my god," like, you the and then, like, taking a drink, kinda I don't remember doing that at all.
no. I think the only thing that was like maybe a little bit jump scary is like the first time Mia grabs the hand and says like talk to me and then there's just like the spirit there.
Oh, yeah,
That
maybe.
might have been, but I think like you kind of knew that that was coming, so it wasn't like
Yeah,
too crazy or anything.
yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't, like, over-explained, so I had to, like, think about it for a really long time after and talk myself off a ledge, and
Oh.
it was kinda scary. Yeah. This is, like, unrelated to anything we're talking about. Do you
Hmm.
think that there's more than one hand, or do you think that the hand that they get at the end of the movie is the same hand?
I think there's more than one. Because didn't they
Okay.
say at one point, like, where's his other hand? And like they made a joke about it or something. I want to say that that happened really early on. I meant to watch this again before we did this, but because it's been like 2 weeks now since I saw it. But
Well, I don't know that that would necessarily mean that there is another I mean, yeah, if
that's true. That
he's
doesn't
got 2
like.
hands.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to know the story of like how it got to them then, but they made
Talk
six
to me.
hands for the movie.
I saw that.
I
The
know.
directors kept one.
I know. I'm jealous. I want one.
A couple years from now, they're gonna go on auction for some cancer charity. It's gonna be great. Guarantee it.
Start saving now.
Seriously. For real.
Yeah. How sexy did you think it was?
Um, I feel like most of the cast is underage.
Yeah, it's a lot of
So,
kids or people looking
yeah.
like kids.
Yeah, and all of the monsters were grotesque. And one of them was, like, drippy and not, like, in a fun tentacly way. So, 1.
Yeah.
As if that wasn't abundantly clear already.
All
Did you
right.
also say 1?
I did. Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
I'm not a foot girl. That's not for me. So,
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's probably somebody's thing, huh?
yeah, for somebody out there, 3.5 at least.
Do you think that was his real foot?
Like that she just shoved it in.
Mhm.
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
You think they're gonna like
well, because it's
CGI a foot? No,
well, maybe not CGI, but, like, practical.
just a fake foot.
Yeah.
Hmm,
I
I
think no
doubt it.
matter how much you wash a foot, there's always a risk of, like, spreading something, you know?
What's going on with your feet, man?
I'm not saying my feet, I'm saying everyone's feet.
Yeah, I personally do not want to put my coworkers' feet in my mouth. Granted, our jobs are a little different, but like, say like
You're what
they're working on a movie. It's their coworker.
got it. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why are we talking about our
Actors,
coworkers?"
they're
Got
actors,
it.
so they're coworkers.
Coworkers. Yes.
I'm not gonna do that. I get that our jobs are very different and the requirements are different. That doesn't seem like a fun day at the office for me. So I don't want to do it. But cost wise, seems easier to just stick it in for a take or two.
I hope that scene only took an hour to film.
I hope it took less.
Yeah, yeah. Poor thing. Let's just pretend it was practical.
Okay, yeah, that was a
That
fake
makes me
foot for
feel better.
sure, for sure, for sure.
Definitely. I can see the outtakes though. I can just imagine the outtakes happening where he just like
She,
wiggles his toes.
she had a lot in there. It was not like a toe.
So yeah, it was like almost all of that. Yeah,
She
like a
fucking ate it
fucking
like a burrito.
cheeseburger. Yeah. Uh, anyway, so yeah, one sexy.
One sexy. Agreed, agreed.
Yeah. How fucked up.
I gave it a 2 because of the feet thing and the dog thing and the gouging out the eye thing.
Didn't like that.
Not a fan. Also, also the scene where it like shows the vision of Riley being that one like that scene got done and I felt like sad. I was like,
Yeah.
I did not expect to feel like upset during a horror movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the closest to like a motherly instinct I've ever had in my life, where I was like, this
Oh my
poor
God.
kid, like I don't like that.
Yeah.
So maybe like a 2.5, because that's like 4 things that I was like a little fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
So that checks out.
Yeah.
But for all the same reasons that you said. The toe thing, I loved the I'm assuming they're digital effects mostly of like all of the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Um Maybe the hellscape monsters were practical. Maybe they could definitely have been.
Yeah, they seemed
Um
like just people.
yeah, but that scene was fucked. I was also very concerned. The self-harm scenes fucked. Not a fan. So, it was definitely pretty high.
Yeah.
I'm like
Overall,
reliving all of these
yeah,
now.
you start talking about it and then you're like, oh yeah, that did fucking happen. That was
But I do want to see it again. Just,
dude,
later.
I want to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Overall?
Overall,
Mm-hmm.
4.5. Is that what you gave it?
Or
Hell yeah.
why did you give it a 4.5?
Just a great film. Like, unexpected and well produced, incredible acting. We didn't talk about Riley, the kid who plays Riley,
So good.
so good. Like, starts out playing this meek little kid and then is basically possessed and like self-harming and like demonic for the rest of the film. Absolutely incredible acting by him. I think he's like the unsung hero of this movie. Like, diverse cast, fresh cast. It was Australian, which is fun. Like, we never get Australian movies. There's a kangaroo in it. It's dying, but I do like an animal to be featured in a film.
Right?
um, yeah, I just like almost no notes.
So what kept it from being a 5?
I don't know. Honestly, like, I don't know.
Just something?
Yeah, there's just something that like what were my fives? Forget.
Uh you gave A Quiet Place a 5, and then you said A Quiet
Yeah, that's
Place
wrong.
lied to you, and you gave Train to Busan a 5.
That's
And then you gave Happy
yeah,
Death Day a 5. I think that's the
yeah.
only ones.
I think I'm bad at rating movies
You know
because
what? There's so many movies that looking back, I'm like, that wasn't true. Like, that was
yeah.
not the rating that I should have given that movie.
Train to Busan 5.
Thank you. You took that back later and said that none of the movies we'd watched so far is a 5. Train to Busan is a 5.
Train to Busan is a 5. This is real fucking close. I would never subject myself to the math of a 4.75, but I'm really close to doing it.
Fair.
This is the closest I've been to a 4.75.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no notes. You?
It's just something. Yeah, I think that this might be the best horror movie of 2023. I thought
It's
it was
August.
I don't care. What's gonna be better than this? Like, if a movie beats this, I'm gonna be fucking like that's I'm gonna be so happy. But this
A24 has like
was
3 more coming out this year.
Are they gonna be as good? Who's to say? Only time will tell. So far, this is the best horror movie of 2023. In my opinion. I thought it was brilliant. And I think it's funny that you said that you couldn't pinpoint why it wasn't a 5 because I felt the same way. I came out of it and at first I was like 4 out of 5. And then the more I thought about the movie, the more I was like, it's absolutely a 5. But I couldn't like think of like what was making me feel weird about it because there was something that kind of didn't sit well with me while I was watching it. Um and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I have to give credit to Cinema Joe on TikTok, which remind me, I'll like send the link to the video and we can like put it in the YouTube description or whatever, give him credit. Because I went and watched his he does like spoiler-free reviews and I watched it after I got done with the movie and he knew. Like he knew what it was. And it made me
Ooh.
realize that is what it was. And it was the way that they like didn't quite explore the grief aspect and it kind of felt like an afterthought even though it was supposed to be like a major part of the plot is this grief of her
Mm.
dealing with her mom and I think the more I thought about it the more I agreed because once you've seen Ari Aster do grief it's a really hard standard to live up to and I think that is my standard of how to show grief in a movie is Hereditary and
Hereditary.
once you'll get there, Midsummer, like he does it in both of them in just a way that like it like hits your heart in a way that's like I don't think I've ever felt that in another movie when it's like portraying something like that. And so I think if they had explored that a little bit further, it would have been a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. And it would have made more sense too.
Right, because it was this huge part of why she was doing it, like why she
Yeah.
couldn't stop because she could not let go of that grief of her mother being gone. And so I think if they had just hit on that a little bit harder,
Yeah.
it would have been a 5 out of 5.
They almost make like at the beginning of the movie when like you first meet Jade, they almost make it like too lighthearted. Like, hey, come on. It's like the 2-year anniversary of my mom's death. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like it's just too like aloof.
right.
And
Which I
if
mean
I'm
like
aloof about it, I'm not gonna fucking talk to a demon every night to try to get a hold of my, you know what I mean? Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree with you.
But I think we agree with Cinema
Cinema Joe.
Joe.
Cinema Joe.
I just want to give credit because like I did not think of that on my own. I kept thinking like why and I think that's why that scene like of the hellscape or whatever like hit me so hard because I was like why did that make me feel so sad but like nothing else really was and it's because they weren't exploring it as enough as they should have maybe or
Yeah.
at least I wish they would have
Yeah.
so I think it all just like kind of made sense after I watched that video and I was like by golly he's right.
Yeah. I think just like more generally for me, it's like the movie didn't have as much emotion as I would expect from a 5 out of 5, which is what Train to Busan did have. Train to Busan had fucking emotion.
Yeah,
This movie had it, but like not, maybe it's because they're all kids and like 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 I don't know, like maybe there's not room for, but I mean grief is an emotion, absolutely, and there should
yeah,
have been some there.
yeah.
I totally agree that
I mean
is
like I can
why
also
it's
kind of
missing.
understand like Mia being kind of like aloof about it because I could see like a kid not like or anyone really just like not wanting to open that door and not wanting to like show vulnerability. So I do kind of get it, but I wish we could have seen more of it in the moments where she was alone or the moments where she
Yeah.
was with her dad. I think that would have been a little bit more impactful.
Yeah. Just like fuel for the desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree. Wow. Thanks, Cinema Joe.
Thanks, Cinema Joe.
Uh,
All right, well,
well, would I survive or would you survive?
I don't know. I think I always ask you. So do you want to
Yeah.
ask me?
Yeah. Would you survive? That's why I was like, would I survive? Because that's usually what happens is me first.
Yeah.
Would you survive?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not like having a fun time party getting possessed every weekend. Like that's just not my vibe. I would absolutely just be the Jade. Jade literally is the only one that like is never shown doing it. So even in the montage scene, she never does it. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
I think that would be me. Where I'd just be like, you guys have a blast. Like it seems fun, but I'm a stand over here and just watch. I don't think that's for me. That's weird behavior.
Yeah. I'm the opposite.
Are you dying in this?
I don't think I'm dying, but I
Oh,
am
okay.
definitely doing the hand.
You're doing it?
I don't know. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a big adrenaline girl. Like I will do adrenaline things.
Oh,
I fucking wrestled a crocodile. Like
true.
I'm, yeah. So if something that's like guaranteed not going to physically hurt me
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to get adrenaline out of it,
Do
I'm
it.
fucking doing it.
It's not guaranteed to not hurt you, so like we
Well, it
literally
was
just
until
watched.
Riley thing, right?
True. I guess that's not like a guarantee though. They were like 90 seconds or else I'd be like, ooh, ooh. Oh, do I trust the guy with the watch? Who's to say?
Oh, true.
But I will say I might have done it only because if I'd like watched the videos and everybody's like, "Oh, come to this party, everybody's getting possessed," I wouldn't believe it. I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, you guys are bullshitting." So when we got there and they were like, "Who wants to go?" I'd probably be like, "I'll go," just to like prove that it's a lie.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to do that again."
Wow, that would be the happiest day of my life. For you to be like, literally this morning, you were possessed by a fucking demon. And you were like, yeah, it's my laundry detergent probably, or some shit. Like,
I
what the fuck? That had more merit being a demon possession than being your fucking laundry detergent. She woke up. Can I tell them this? Can I tell this story?
Yeah, now we have to.
You can cut it out.
No, it's fine.
She woke up this morning with like a handprint on her arm.
It was not a handprint. It was literally
Yes, it
on
was.
my arm. It was like one mark here, one dot here, and then like one there.
Oh,
And
like
it's
somebody
gone
grabbed your
now.
arm.
What, T-Rex? Like what?
You don't fucking know how many fingers a demon has.
Anyways, it was just red marks. I probably just like laid on it weird or like because I usually tuck my hand under my pillow, so it's probably just like sheets that got bunched up and left red marks. They didn't go away for a while, but they did go away eventually. I don't think that it has more merit being a demon than just like. Have you ever taken a nap and you wake up and there's just like red marks all over your face?
Yeah, but that's not what was happening.
I think that's what was happening.
Okay, well.
If so,
If we don't do any episodes after this, you know why. Because you got
couldn't
possessed
kill
by
me
a
once.
demon.
Nah, that demon's a weak ass bitch. I'll take it down.
Stop taunting it.
Demon!
Oh my god.
Demon!
Oh fuck. We didn't even talk about how I thought this entire movie was like an allegory on like drug use, but that can be saved for another time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, right? Am I wrong?
It could be, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could see that.
Anyway, next week?
Normally. Yeah,
Oh.
normally you would tell us the plot of next week, but we had to film out of order because we had to wait until we were both available to see this film in theaters. So
Yes.
Katie's already seen it. We've already recorded the next episode, and it is Ringu.
Oh,
Although I've heard it's maybe
I'm glad
Ring.
you said
Ring?
it. Ring.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
it's the ring on the Japanese movie posters.
we talk about it next week of how to pronounce it. But I
We
think
still
it's
don't
just
know.
Ring. So yes,
Yeah.
the Japanese Ring. We're gonna watch it.
2008, 2008, 2011,
It's like 1998.
1990, 1998.
I think you're about 10 years too late. Yeah.
It's an old ass movie.
Yeah. Well, come on now. I'm older than it.
Barely.
True. Yeah, 1998.
Yay.
Ring.
Yay. Bye.
Oh, you gotta say it like you say it. Come on.
Oh.
Don't
Bye.
blue ball us. There it is.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for today. If there are any movies you'd like to hear us talk about or you'd like to traumatize me with, please let us know in the comments or shoot us a DM on our socials at Killer Cuties Podcast.
Thanks so much for listening. Next episode, we're going to be talking about the 1998 Japanese horror film, The Ring. We hope to see you then. Bye.